welcome back to another episode of Wholistic Conversations. I'm your host, Brittany, and today I have a phenomenal guest on, my personal friend, Gigi.
Hey.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a long time coming.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we are here.
Finally.
I know, right?
Yes, I'm so excited and I'm so proud of you.
Thank
I don't
you.
even know, like I'm so proud. So proud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it means a lot coming from you.
Thank you. You mean a lot to
Yes.
me. Yeah.
And okay, so tell me how, I want to put the narrative in your control. Who is Gigi?
Ooh, well, Brittany, you know Gigi.
Mm-hmm.
But to a lot of people, I'm Georgette.
Mm-hmm.
I am a holistic wellness professional. I met Brittany when I started, well, not even started, when I was really in my prime of juiced up.
Mm-hmm.
We were in a shared kitchen together on Fair Street. So I remember when I've watched your whole business grow. So this is like so exciting to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I'm Georgette Reynolds, author, mother, daughter, caregiver, do-gooder, and as most of you know me as, your neighborhood juice dealer and dope healer.
And where are you from?
I am Georgette from Georgia. Like, that's my thing. Fun fact, I'm an ex-pageant queen, and that's how I used to introduce myself.
Aw, that's super cool.
So I am a Georgia peach, born in Atlanta, reared in South Georgia, and always back and forth from Atlanta to South Georgia, so a true Georgia peach.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And being from Georgia, a lot of people that I know from Georgia grow up a little differently, right? They grow up with that sense of going outside, picking your food. There's a neighborhood farm of some sort, getting your water from the well. Is that your experience?
It's most definitely my experience. Shout out to my stomping grounds, Montrose, Georgia. That is a little small town outside of Dublin, Georgia. And I had the privilege of growing up on a farm where now my uncle still lives there and still maintains the farm. So shout out to Papa Jr. Shout out to Papa Jr. He taught me everything I know. And I did grow up getting a lot of my food right off the land, right outside. So when I got in college, and I remember my friends was like, we're going to have a cookout. And they was like, oh, well, we need more chicken. I was like, okay, wait, I have to go home and get one. They was like, go home. I was like, yeah. They was like, no, we can get it from like, I think it was Buy Lowe's or something. I was like, oh, I don't eat meat out of a store. And they was like, what you mean? I was like, I don't know how long it's been dead. I don't want that. So that was like my first time really realizing that the way I was brought up was different outside of, just regular. Like, yeah, it was different.
And do you feel like that contributed to the way you live now?
Definitely. I've always have been around vegetation. It was always a part of my everyday meals. So definitely, I became a little more conscious when learning how to deer hunt, and I didn't want to kill the deer. I wanted to eat the deer, but I did not want to kill the deer. So over time, it has progressed to this. Even going vegetarian in my teens, that was different for my family. That was like vegetarian,
right?
But I was also working at Applebee's, and the quality of food that they serve wasn't the same quality of food that my uncle went and hunted and brought home. Like, it was not the same quality. So I learned quickly, like, this isn't for me.
So you stopped eating meat.
So now let's talk about it. This is like 20 years of practicing a lifestyle. So in my teens, I went vegetarian. So I still ate fish. We had a pond behind our house. We went fishing. Bacon is its own food group. I love bacon, but I now have the knowledge as to what it does to the body mentally. And the spirit that you take on when you're consuming these animals and the different levels of things that they have released pending slaughter. So,
and what are some of those different type of things?
Like endorphins, serotonins, they different energies that like they know that this is happening. So like they're scared. Like it's just a lot of energy that goes into that, and you consume that. So that wasn't for me. But bacon, I just now treat it like a man who broke my heart. Like if I see him, I may speak. And if not, you know, he smells so good, but stay your ass over there, okay?
Right, you're not good for me.
No, you're not good for me. I know what you do for my pH, and you're not good for me, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I had one friend, and I've never really heard people really talk about veganism the way she passionately spoke about it. So that's why it's important for our peers to be smarter than us and to have different experiences so that we can take on the knowledge and see if there's something that works for me, or seeing if there's something that, you know, that doesn't kind of rock with what I'm my now. And so I had this one friend saying, you know what, I am just tired of the way things are, and I want to try something different. And I was like, I understand that. And I will never forget my last mild lemon pepper wing. Like, I'll never forget it. It was
real intentional. You like
it was.
Yeah.
I was at a Halloween party, Stank on You Studios, and my friend Tierra and I was like, girl, they ain't got nothing but chicken here. So this our last time. This is the last one. It's like, all right, like I'm getting all flats. Like I'm going in. And it really just became like a game to me. Like, ooh, I can avoid chicken. I can avoid chicken. Let's see what I can eat today. And it progressed.
So you found the joy. You enjoyed the journey of,
sure.
Okay, what else can I do? And
Besides
that's helping
chicken.
bring in new experiences, right? And different types of food. Now it's like, okay, I want to try this. Were you also making your own recipes or trying out new dishes in the kitchen?
I went for the vegetables first, and I'm a Southern girl, so I deep fry everything. I deep fry broccoli, Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes. Like I
deep fried it in the grease.
Yeah, like
with flour over them, or
sometimes. This is the beginning stages.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to understand because I never heard somebody deep frying vegetables.
Yeah,
wow.
In the South, we batter and deep fry everything. But I had to also know I like fried. At the time, I like fried, and then I realized I became a carby Barbie because I was carved up and I wasn't, doing the lifestyle. But that's part of the journey. I think now it's easy to transition to being vegan because they got the junk food vegan things going on, and it works. It entices your thinking. It kind of brings you in. All right, okay, I'm eating healthy.
Yeah, and it's easier.
It is.
It's quicker access. You don't really have to do much to try to replace what you're eating. It's already processed. It's already packaged up. So it's easier to make that transition. So I understand that.
Yeah. But I did like to cook. So that's why I cooked everything. And then when I found out about being vegan, I was like, okay, you've been vegetarian. You've said you don't eat meat, but you've doubled up on carbs. What does this look like? Okay, you look like what you look like. You look like what you consume. And
wait, so give me, what were you looking like?
Carby Barbie.
Just like more stockier, more
fluffy.
Full,
I was very fluffy. Yeah, I was still very athletic.
Okay.
Just fluffy. And when I say fluffy, I mean about 35 extra pounds, maybe 40 than what I am now. Still athletic though. And still I played softball, very good, short and third. Okay. So very good. But I wasn't feeling good mentally. So now I said, what is raw vegan? What is veganism? Let's break it down. You got your raw vegan for 2 years, almost 3 years, but it's like 2.5 years. I consistently ate raw, but it wasn't to the standard of cooking something to 180. It was completely raw.
Just fresh fruits and vegetables
every
right
single
out.
day.
Yeah. No processing, no cooking, no boiling,
nothing. It was salads and raw. If it was something that can be consumed raw, I ate it completely raw.
Wow.
It was the most disciplined.
You say you did that for 2 to 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
What
were some of the benefits you got from it?
Energy. A lot of energy and, of course, like abs. And I didn't really have to work out because I still was very athletic. I was still exercising, moving. I got into like a boot camp, and that like saved me. It really saved me. I'm eating healthy. I'm working out. I'm pouring into me. I'm liking the results. There's something to this. Oh, and my mental health it's better. Okay, there's definitely a correlation. Now at this point, I'm about 25, 26 at this point.
Okay.
So this is time has passed, and now I would still go back because this has been time. And when I say go back, if I travel outside the country and they just pull that fish out of the water, I'll take 2, please. Fully no meat at all at this moment has been 15 years. Like nothing. Until I started learning about my blood type.
Okay. Wait, before we get there though.
Yeah.
You mentioned mental health.
Yes.
And how it helped you. In what way exactly? Because, mental health can be looked at in so many different ways. So what were you experiencing before? And then what was your experience after?
Okay. So I've always had a problem of people pleasing. And that is a form of like a mental health problem. You feel you have to do things for people in order for them to respect you, like you, be around you. All the things that people look to people for. So I looked for those things, and I became this grand people pleaser. I forgot how to enjoy life's wonders for myself. So mentally, I wasn't able to connect with myself. Once I changed my diet, the food, it changed a lot of things I did. I didn't hang around the same people. You don't eat how I eat. We don't go to the same places. It is lonely sometimes when you're coming into a place of bettering yourself. So that part became kind of lonely. I was dating at the time, and he still ate, meat, but still wanted to adapt the lifestyle I was beginning to just really engulf myself in. And, it became a relationship. Engaged came out of that relationship. So it was pretty good as learning myself in that moment.
Okay. Mental
health wise, just being like lost, being sad, being depressed. And this is no disrespect for people who are depressed and clinically diagnosed with depression. But at some point, you really have to look in the mirror and take accountability of the things that are happening and go within and say, oh, okay, this is a choice. I can continue to stay here, or I can put together some plan to get me out of this situation, because this isn't that. And that's kind of what happened with Juiced Up, like literally.
Yeah. I think that's very encouraging, right? To say, oh, I'm in control of my life and I have the ability to make the decision on whether I'm going to keep sinking into this negativity, to the things that's not working out for me, and I'm going to keep feeling that pain, or I'm going to choose, right? I'm going to decide, hey, I don't want to feel like this anymore. And then you chose something greater. So what did you choose? What, like, did you go, oh, you know what? There is something I want to pursue, and let me focus on accomplishing that. Like, what was the other side for you?
Figuring out who I was and what do I want to look like to people. Not that I care about what you think, not that I care about what you say, but I care about what I'm projecting. So my food changed. My circle changed. As simple as that. My food changed, my circle changed, my thinking and my mindset changed.
Got it.
I'm with entrepreneurs. They're serial entrepreneurs. They're solopreneurs. They're doing their thing. They're taking the lemons that life has given them, and they are making lemon hazes, okay? Not lemonade, lemon haze, juicedupbar.com. They're making those. And they're learning to rewrite the narrative and walk into who I am right now in this moment. That phrase, yesterday's prices, not today's prices. Okay, yesterday, Georgette, not the same Georgette. I may have put up with the tomfoolery yesterday. Today, I bumped my head and I realized that I'm more than enough. Yeah, and I can do what I said I want to do, or anything that I think I am big enough and bad enough to do, I can do it.
Yes.
So
that's great, because it takes a lot of responsibility, right? Now you're saying, okay, I see who I want to be. I know what I want to be. And now I have to bring in the discipline, bring in the taking responsibility for the actions and for the way that I was acting before. Because making a decision that's the first step, right? But then to actually do the action to make sure that decision stays solid and your foundation to who you're becoming is even harder, right? So how do you not give up on yourself during that time? Because you go result back to the old self sometimes.
Don't they knock at the door?
So,
routine.
Okay.
Unlearning and relearning. Cold showers play a major role in my life. Running plays a major role in my life. And I run in all elements. Rain, snow, sleet, 100 degrees. So the discipline with knowing that if I stick to what I saw out, I know it's going to happen. You got to know what you say out of your mouth is going to happen. It may not look like what you thought it was going to look like, but it's going to happen. You get lost. You find your way again. You feel defeated in some points. You may have even feel like you failed, but that failure grew something greater. So
yeah,
for sure.
That's really good. All right, so now tell me about your blood type. How did that change your diet?
So now I get pregnant with Gage. This is when the blood type. I've always known my blood type. I've always known it. My mom gave
What is your blood type?
B positive.
Okay.
And I've always just knew it. And I think that that's something everybody should know. Every parent should teach your child. Not only it could save their life, because it has been times where people will almost receive the wrong blood due to, just human error. So learning about my blood type, it kind of pulled everything right in for me. Like, okay, if you're B positive, as I am, it says no corn, no lentils, no wheat, soy, minimum dairy, some cheeses, but it has to be, no chicken. Absolutely not. It says turkey, but turkey is chicken's cousin. So it depends on, because everybody is different. What my gut says may not be what your gut says. So, and then also, how can I put these nutrients back in my body if I'm not eating deer? Because that's what it says, you got to eat deer. I'm like, I can't even kill Bambi. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But somebody else do it. So after I learned those things, like, it's just like, okay, take the supplements, see what you need so that you're not malnourished. So that I think it's just important to know, because once you know what you should consume based on your blood type, then your body will operate at like optimum level.
Okay. And you said this was at the time you had Gage, or? Okay.
Yeah. So like, I knew my blood type, but I wanted to know his blood type. Okay. It was the same as mom's. I wanted to know what type of milk to feed him. What diet should he be on? All the things. But I went, breast is best.
Right.
So I breastfed Gage 2.5.
Okay.
Until he said he was done. I was like, oh, okay.
So what did you desire during your birthing experience? Did you want to birth at home? Did you want to go to the hospital? What was your desire?
I always knew I was going to get drugs. Okay. No, thank you.
Like, yeah, give me the epidural.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I had Gage at 31. And so I also developed gestational diabetes. So that, again, back to the raw, whole pregnancy, minimum stress, exercise daily, all the things. I probably would have delivered sooner if I hadn't got the epidural, because I did have such a smooth pregnancy, maintain all the things. But because of like my blood pressure and other things in my 30s, they was like, yeah. So I went for it. Plus, I don't.
Wait, you went for what?
Epidural. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you birth on time? Like the time that they gave you?
No. That's they induced labor, and I still was in labor for 3 extra days, like 3 days.
Right.
And I that was something I didn't want to. I wanted him to come on his own. So I have my theory about autism and epidural, and because, all the things.
So you were later in your pregnancy when you delivered him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not,
where they had to induce him to.
Oh, not even. It was like 8 months, because my blood pressure kept just being, and it was like, oh, you're getting ready to deliver. I'm like, no, I'll be fine. I'm going to go to the beach. I'll be fine. My pressure will go down.
Because you understand that your blood pressure fluctuates. So you just going to the hospital or to your doctor visit could increase your blood pressure.
And that's exactly what it did every single time.
Yep.
So they induced me. I was in labor for 3 more days.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Did you do any steroids or did they give you any medication preparing the baby for early birth?
No.
Okay.
None of those things. No.
Okay. Because I know that's a new thing now. Like, I have heard stories of mothers saying they're going to the hospital. The doctor is telling them, hey, your blood pressure is high. And that means your baby could come early. So to prepare the baby to come early, we're going to give you steroids to help develop the lungs of the baby. But it's so interesting because when I did, I'm like, well, if you give the baby the steroids to develop the lungs faster, and if your blood pressure can fluctuate, you're stuck in a bind. Because once you start taking that, the baby has to come early regardless because the lungs are developed by 38 weeks. So you're going to birth early no matter what now. You didn't really give it a chance, you know? Right. So that's a new thing that they're doing nowadays.
Wow. Now, should I have a kid in these 40s, I will probably be at home with a midwife. Shout out to Coco. She's a doula. Yeah, or Tierra One. Like, no, ma'am.
Okay. So Gage come, right? You birth and everything, and
37 weeks. I had to think about it. 37 weeks, yeah. He's normal. He does all the things. He miss nothing.
No milestones are missed.
Yeah. Everything is fine.
And you're nursing as well?
I'm nursing as well.
And you're vegan?
And I'm vegan.
Okay.
And even when he started to eat food, I'm making everything. Every single thing. His first round of vaccines were like his first birthday. And we only decided because like his father was like, yeah, I think so. I'm like, I don't know. He's been in the safest place on earth for 9 months.
Right.
And now he's built an immune system around the things. I think he's fine. Over time, I allowed the father to say yes. I said yes too, because I'm like, there are things that vaccines have helped. Okay. Shortly after like the first round of vaccines, I began to see like a decline.
And did you say he was 1 year old?
Yeah, 1.
Okay.
Yeah. 1.
And how many vaccines do a child get at that age? Do you remember?
I do not remember it. And this was before they mixed in the cocktails. So he got 2 shots at this point. But I think 1 may have been a something and a something. So I'm going to say 3. But now I heard there's something crazy. Like the cocktails have 30 different things in them that they're giving children. And I'm like, what? But yeah, no. So after the first round of vaccines, that first night, he literally cried all night. And he spiked a fever. I did all the things, and it was crazy. It was a crazy night. The next day, he's just, he's feeling better, but it's not the same. And then over time, the things that he did do, like the babbling and, mama, dada, has kind of regressed and it slowed down to nothing.
So there was a period in time where he wasn't talking, using words.
No words.
Wow.
He threw things and he would point at different things.
And then how old would you say? Was he still did he turn 2 yet at this point?
Yeah, he's 2 now at this point. And it's 2 and 3. It's quiet. He doesn't cry a lot. He seems pretty happy, but he doesn't say every now and again I'll get a mommy. But I know at 2, some 2-year-olds, you're like, you're 2? Like they're full conversations.
Yeah.
3, I decided to get him evaluated at the Marcus Autism Institute. 3.5, we get a diagnosis of autism. And like I said,
even at that moment right there, you as the mother trying to protect your son, how did that make you feel?
Oh man, I just automatically knew it was my fault. And I think every mother who has ever got any diagnosis of their children having anything, they automatically take on that mom guilt. And it's so, it's like a cancer, man. It eats away at you. It really does. And it'll make you a cold person, a heartless person, or it'll just completely make you fold under pressure and, worse, worse things to come. But I think during that time, that was my time to, again, all right, your son's not talking. You created this person. What can you do for this person? How can you communicate with this person? All right, let's go back to the drawing board. What have you learned so far parenting? Right. How can you apply it?
And what did the doctors tell you at that time that he was diagnosed?
They said they couldn't really tell me which end of the spectrum he was on, being that there was minimal speech. And they let me know that he may be, delayed in a lot of other things, learning, potty training. He may not be able to ever speak, or he may have limited words that he can use to get by, but only time will tell. And we can offer you these resources and see if you want to sign up to be a case study. The choice is yours.
Wow. And I think that's pretty strong of you, because I'm imagining if the doctor told me that about my children, I would probably go into a depression.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
But again, when I learned, I went back. When I developed a routine and I worked out and I did, because I was very depressed at the time. If anybody knew me at that time, that was probably the smallest I've ever been. I think I was 100 pounds. And I was eating, but maybe once a day. I've always drank the juice. If I had no food, I've had at least 3 juices today. Yeah. And I had to take on the responsibility, like, maybe this is something you created him. So maybe you created that too. So I can look at it. I can take a chance on me. I can take a chance on the doctors. I'll take a chance on me. I created this person. I should be able to communicate with this person. I should be able to teach this person whatever unique way we come up with. Yeah. And I definitely want to tell you that when I got the news, like, they sit you down in a room, they have a counselor. Do you want the child in the room? Type things. And they give you the information. And it is like, it hits you. And I was proud of me for not busting out into tears. But I did become like a little emotional, and I just told them thank you. And they asked, did I need counseling? And at the moment, I declined the counseling because I was just like, no counselor is going to be able to help me through this. I got to help me through this. And literally, yes, it was a lot of times. Yeah. And that's goes back to that first moment again. Okay, what will I decide? Right? And then you brought back those same skill sets, discipline, routine. So what was the routine for Gage after that moment? Loving him. That's the most important thing I could have ever done from where I come from. And I think we share that. My mom passed at a young age when I was 4. So becoming a mother, I'm like, oh, I don't have the tools. Yes, you do.
It's in you.
It's in you. Your mom was a great mom. It's in you. Love is the key. It's the ingredient. It's the everything. It's the sprinkles on top. And then learning your child and allowing your child to teach you. Because our children are our greatest teachers.
Wait, that's really important right there. Because most times we believe that our children don't know anything when they are equipped with so much knowledge that they can teach us. So being open to that is a really good thing as well.
Yeah, he taught me things about loving myself. Most important thing he taught me was acceptance. Because some situations we cannot change. Yep. no matter how bad we want to. And then once we decide that we're not accepting it and I can change that, it was the acceptance. Accepting him for who he is. Accepting that, okay, people call this a disability, but it's your superpower. People saying, you know what? He may not do this and that, but you know, you're a good mama. You'll figure it out. And I used to be like, that is the most crazy. Don't tell me I figured it out. Give me a resource.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That is when, you know, legends are made, literally, because you go within and you're like, all right, they said all these things. They said, boom, 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 boom. What are you going to do? How are you going to help him?
Right. And
I found out he can read. Yes, I'm saying I found out he can read.
Okay.
So communicating with him was I labeled everything.
But before you start going there, what was the father's reaction to the diagnosis?
Yeah, wherever that guy is, we wish him all the best on all his future endeavors. Yeah.
Got it.
That's where I'm at with that.
Okay.
He supports when he can.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that ever something you all had a chance to talk about?
I definitely have spoke about it to Gage's father. I would love for him to be more than it is, but also I have to protect my son, and I'm always going to protect my peace. And not to say he's like a bad person or anything. He's an amazing father when he shows up.
Yeah.
And yeah, he loves Gage. He loves everything about him. And I think he loves his superpower more just because he knows Gage and he accepts him and he loves him. But
yeah. Okay.
That's that.
I digress.
Yes.
Moving on.
Thank you.
So you were labeling everything to help Gage with his speaking?
Yeah, with speech. I bombarded him with services. I think services are important if you can afford them. And if not, there are a ton of resources that are out there. There's so many, we live in this social media world. There's so many resources that are attainable and they're easy to get, you know, just if your child is a neurodivergent. But yeah.
And what were some of the services?
Speech, occupational therapy, ABA therapy, music therapy, play therapy, real thing. Arts and crafts kind of fell along with the occupational therapy. So just everything. I put him in everything. He played sports until he was able to tell me, hey, I like sports. I don't want to play sports.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wonderful. So.
Okay. So you're not limiting him based off the diagnosis.
Absolutely not.
You're encouraging the exploration of life. Say, okay, let me put you in these things to see and to help, because no matter what experience is good. Right?
You know what? Yeah, for sure. I like that. It was really to find out who he was.
Okay.
So if I expose him to all of these things, something is going to grasp his attention. I'm going to get a different response. I'll know if this is something we can keep, something we can, trash.
Yeah.
So, I would definitely say open him up to different things and exposing him is actually like a lesson for him.
Right.
Because when I put him in certain situations, he has to get himself like traveling.
Yeah.
Airport.
Yeah.
How to navigate on the train. How to use your indoor voice. So it's parenting.
Yeah.
Part gentle parenting and then part like letting your child teach you. And you have to, we sometimes still have the old school mentality that like, I'm the adult, so I'm right. You're a child, stay in a child's place. But our kids be like, these kids built different and they really tell us the truth about things and ourselves. And if we listen to our children, they're really, in tune with the powers that be. And they really are here for you to help you. Gage was sent to help me all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, I want to know, because I know you know. So I want to know like both sides of the spectrum of being a mother with a autistic son. And you mentioned the airport, and it brought me back to that memory you told me about you all traveling in the airport. And I think that will give a really good visual of some of the things you might have to go through on a day-to-day that could be challenging. And then we go switch it up and talk about the things that also make you very proud.
Well, I always say that autism is the most amazing, wonderful, disappointing, encouraging, discouraging thing ever on the planet that I hate and love. Because on one side, I have society that says something is wrong with my child because of these things. And then on the other side was like, allow him to be himself and to be who he is. So with Gage specifically, because I can only speak on, that's my teacher. I can only speak on him. Sometimes getting him to see small detailed things is what I have to like, okay, pull away. There's a big picture. Let's put the picture together. He's like, no, these things right here. So he's very particular and meticulous, and he takes his time, and it has to be right. It has to feel good. It has to look good. Okay, so I have to give myself time. I had to redevelop patience daily.
There we go. Yeah.
Redevelop patience. I have them, but I really have to go back. And that time you talking about in the airport, man, if you're traveling with a neurodivergent, do not book your flight on your phone. Book it on the computer. There's so many options, and you can convey any message across as to what you will be working with when you come into the airport. What you need assistance with, your family, things, all the things. So book your flights on the computer. Call ahead of time. If it's a lot of other things that you feel like, maybe you have twins, or maybe you have older children, maybe they're on one end of the spectrum and the other. So you want to go ahead and let them know these things, and they are so accommodating. There's even a sensory room in the airport. There's also one at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And I almost think it's one at State Farm Arena. I think, if not, there are works about it coming. Be sure to travel. I make little sensory kits. And it's whatever I feel Gage is going to need on this flight. Whether it's earplugs, motion sickness patch, a fidget toy, something to actually draw, some Play-Doh, something tangible, snacks, backup earphones, like a blanket, his favorite toy, or his teddy bear, all the things. I give him an agenda because he wants to know.
Right.
He wants to know where we're going, how we get there, and again, patience. Pack all the patience. Because depending on the day, depending on the way the wind blows, this crowd may be exciting for him, or this crowd may be frightening for him.
Yeah.
So I have to be prepared. Either way we're going to go. I have to be prepared to miss a flight because he didn't want to get on this plane, or we're running to catch the flight, and you fell out on the floor, and you're kicking and screaming because you can't do this. I can't get upset.
Yeah.
Damn, I missed that flight. I can't get upset. Delta Sky Lounge me. Let me get 2 glasses of champagne. Let him eat all the cookies he can handle, and we'll catch the next flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And now, because you said Gage is very detailed and you actually are able to see this in other ways outside of, like drawing or something like that. But you were telling me that he does a really good job at putting together a bike. Yeah. Right. And that's like that very proud, like, yeah.
He's amazing. He is Mr. Fix-It. He enjoys art, but I think if he applied himself, he really can draw. He draws a little bit, but he rather us go to an art gallery. He look at every piece of art and tell you how it made him feel and what he think the artist was thinking when he created the art.
Yes.
And he is he's like a little man in this body, And he does build those bikes. He can build a bike in an hour and take it apart. Build it and take it apart in 1 hour.
Okay.
He's also very studious. One part of the spectrum is that teachers say Gage is being disruptive. He's clapping and flapping. But there's a lot going on in his classroom, so he's regulating. But at the same time, if you ask him, Gage, what did we just talk about? Verbatimly, he can give you all the information back. Mm-hmm. And he says, I stored it right here, so I have it forever. So his brain is amazing.
Yes.
He remembers birthdays and dates. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen you since like 2017. How do you even remember that?
Yeah.
But he will, like he does. So for any mom that has a child on the spectrum and you've recently been diagnosed, like, it's okay. You will be okay. Your child will be okay. It's not your fault. Mm-hmm. Did I tell you that none of this is your fault? None of it. Whichever way it goes, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
And resources are available. That was it. Resources are available.
Yeah. So, we live in a new age where technology plays a big part in our life. And sometimes to tame a child, it's easier to say, oh, here, take the tablet, watch something, right? Mm-hmm. What are some other ways you help Gage navigate being uncomfortable, right? And do you have limits on the tablet and, things like that?
This one is this is a doozy here.
Yeah.
I definitely take Gage's phone for an extended period of time. When I say I'll take it for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Now, it's the grandparents that I have to be like, hey, y'all, come on. Like, let him go outside. He doesn't need to be. Well, it's hot outside, and I'm hot. It's okay. It's okay for him to be hot. He needs to sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
But when he's in an uncomfortable situation, we breathe. We breathe, and he's an affirmation kid. So anytime he's in an uncomfortable situation, he's always like, and then he talks to himself, Gage, you're fine. You're safe. It's okay. And I do this. Mm-hmm. I've encouraged him to do this. I've never really actually seen him do this. Mm-hmm. Teachers tell me that this is how he self-regulates at school.
Wow.
They also tell me it's the other ones we have to worry about. We're not worried about Gage.
Yeah.
So when he is uncomfortable, he part of his autism, he has echolalia.
Okay.
And what echolalia means is he will script and say things that he has heard. And even though it may make perfect sense in this moment, sometimes it's like, wait, what? So the teacher say, okay, everyone have a seat. And he'll say, okay. And he'll sit down. And if other students are still standing, he'll be like, you better get in your seat. But he won't say, you better get in your seat. He'll just say, you better get in your seat. And then if he stands up again, oh, Gage, have a seat. You know you're supposed to sit down. Oh, yeah, you're right. He sits down.
Mm. And he's saying this all. Yeah.
He is really, truly becoming a preteen. He's 11. Mm-hmm. And again, if they follow the story, he was nonverbal till 3.5, 4. Ways that helped was a chiropractor.
Okay.
Ironically enough, through all types of different holistic practices, I stumbled upon a Black chiropractor that let me know some of his occipital bones may be pinching nerve endings that control speech and language. So now, 11, he's full of language. Mm-hmm. So just to see him mature over time and come into himself like that really truly makes me proud as a mother. Mm-hmm. To know that I have equipped him with things that I didn't think I was doing, but just in me being myself in my daily practices and him watching and him learning and absorbing, I think he is, he's ready for life, but he's still my baby. So I have to do the things. But I would definitely say when it's time for him to navigate through moments, self-regulation skills he has learned. And also he will look in the mirror and talk to himself and say, you're going to be fine. you know, you're being a king. You're smart, strong, powerful, and brave. Yeah. You can achieve anything. Okay, go have a great day. And I think that even though he learned it, it's more powerful that he goes and do it for himself than me speaking it over him. Because that's how it started. So he is a phenomenal young person.
Yes.
Yeah. And I love him dearly, and I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
And he's my biggest help.
Yeah.
My biggest help.
And I would say, and I tell you this all the time, that you are a really great mother. And I'm so proud of you because you becoming the best version of yourself and incorporating those disciplines and those, you know, self-regulated practices that you probably did for you, then encourage him to do it for himself. So I just have to say, G, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And that's so amazing because I know it's not easy. Yeah. And it could be challenging, but Gage is so amazing.
Yeah, so, he is. He makes me amazing. God. Yeah. I always get emotional about him.
Yeah. And
I just want to thank you because when you met Gage, you never treated him any differently. And I think he was around the time he was starting to speak when we met. Yeah. And so he was, you know, you've always been like, okay, all right.
I just go with it, yeah.
Yeah, and now he thinks he's like your girl's big cousin. And he's not going to tell them what to do. I'm like, go sit down. But yeah, he's an amazing fella. Yeah. And I still have to realize like he was sent for me and I was designed especially for him. Yes. I mean, his first words were French, so. Yeah. Right.
All right, perfect. And we go take a turn here. And I want to know, how did you come up with Juiced Up?
Oh man, Juiced Up has so it's a compilation of fun things. One, it started with just like taking care of my dad, and this is before all the holistic things. This is back when I was learning about things, and my dad had prostate cancer, and we wanted to like, you know, see all the things we can do and what can we do, and I learned about turmeric. But I also read like that summer like 200 books. I was like, you know what? All these people who had this is what they did. They juiced for 60 days. He was like, juice for 60 days. I was like, they juiced for 60 days. Yeah. He was like, all right. I was like, I'm going to do it with you, Daddy. Like, I'm going to do it with you. 60 days, we juiced. He developed a better eating habit. Now, we did have stents, I think that is what they call it, implanted in the prostate, but never had it removed. He did 1 round of chemo, and then we've been cancer free. Like, shout out to G-Man, he'll be 81 next month. Hey, 81. That's what's up. I'm so excited. And then Gage, and then myself, and I always see this cycle of me. Remember, I was like people pleasing, but now I do it because I like to help. But I understand where I can help and where I need to help myself. Yes. I have a fine line of the people pleasing. I've came to realization that the more I initiate the idea of healing in people, the more I heal. Yes. The more I heal, the more I heal. So the more I heal, the more I heal. And then just over time, it's like, you know what? You got a little business model here. You can do these things. I've seen others do it. And it wasn't even like I want a business at this point. Because I already had a bartending business, a mobile bartending service. It's like 2002. Like, right. I already had a business. It was called Cackles and Cocktails, like drinks and laughs. I had to bring that back. But over time, like I was like, okay, you're doing this. You've been doing it for friends and family. Okay, they're starting to pay you. You have a few gyms because I was a personal trainer. You have gyms. They need juice. Okay, I got in a few restaurants. It grew. Oh, okay. I employed my family. It was great. It was running. It was doing these things. The pandemic happened. Yeah, turned up. I never made $100,000, and I saw it. Yeah, back to back. And then I grew to a point where I outgrew my team, and my team didn't want to put in the hours. So I was back to doing it myself, back to a solopreneur, back to me not trusting people, back to those. Yeah, so then it became, oh man, it's difficult. Do I still want to do this? am I still getting the fun and the joy out of it? No, it's work now. Oh no, not work.
Yeah.
I'm allergic. So how do I do that? And so it grew, and it's a household name. People know that Juice Lady. They see me, they know me.
Yeah.
But I'm at a moment in my life. Well, I used to be the Juice Lady. Yes, I did. But now I'm Georgette.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm coming into being Dr. Reynolds.
Okay.
And I'm doing the work, and I'm practicing, and I'm enrolling in school to finish some things up so I can continue
your
the
more
work.
purpose work. Exactly.
Yeah, my more purpose work. So all of it happened just as it should. Now, Juiced Up is still growing in its way, but it's growing online. And I can appreciate that because I enjoy that aspect of it.
Yeah.
The moment they take the joy out, it's not going to work. The juice is not going to be the same. It's not going to administer healing properties within you. So I'm just excited to evolve.
Yes.
And that's where we are.
Yes. And that's really good. And, you know, being an entrepreneur, right? And people know you for one way of being, Gigi Juiced Up, right? And now slowly creating a form of detachment, right, from it. And also putting yourself in different situations because at the end of the day, you still got to feed your family. You got to feed yourself.
For sure.
So there are some things you have to now come to a realization like, oh, man, I might have to go and do some things that it's different, right?
For sure.
So, like, how do you navigate that?
Self-talk and self-belief. And here's the tricky part. You got to believe the shit when you don't believe. You got to. Just when you think, dang, I thought I had it and I got to pivot and now this is what it looks like. Okay. Today's going to be one of those days. You're going to have to give your own self a hug. You're going to have to pep talk your own self. Or today's that day that you do nothing.
There we go.
You lay here and you do nothing. Gage, you're not going to school today. It's okay. We're doing nothing. He taught me those moments. I remember him saying, Gage, have a great day. He was like, remember, Mom, there's always tomorrow. I was like, dang. Right. And this is something I would tell him. Like, if you don't have a good day, there's always tomorrow. I was like, dang, he finna go and give him hell, but there's always tomorrow.
Right.
So slowing down, getting back to me, getting back to my family, getting back to the little joys of life. I mean, it really will be over faster than we think. And the new world may be just as wonderful. But I want to be sure that while I'm here, I put forth an effort to be my best self. And I encourage somebody. I prompt a change in their narrative. And I help someone do something outside of themselves that was greater than themselves. That means the most to me. So the legacy that I'm wanting to create now is just a holistic thinking. And it's not even like how people think it is. When I say holistic thinking, it's your thought pattern, your thought process, your internal voice, and listening to your gut and really thinking that you are the stuff and you got all the stuff. So walk tall and walk boldly in your gifts. If you don't know what your gifts are, get with people who are in their gifts and say, hey, how did you get here? Have holistic conversations where it's a whole thing is being said. It's not one-sided. And really enjoying who is looking back at you in the mirror. You got to enjoy that. Because if you look in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself or you don't like who's looking back, then nothing that you could ever do in any type of ship, relationship, workship, partnership, entrepreneurship, ship, boat ship, side piece ship. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever the situationship is, the situation, what you have going on with yourself and that relationship with yourself. is really what matters. So listen, the rest of this shit, it can all be so simple.
Yeah.
And then it can be just madhouse. But just knowing who you are, learning who you are first, and then knowing who you are, standing in that and say, all right, I'm going to be bold in me. I'm going to walk out in me. I'm going to make a difference today.
Yeah.
And the rest of this stuff is going to fall into place because I'm already divinely connected to the Most High. And everything that I want, it wants me.
There we go. All right, before we get out of here, I ask every guest the same question. What's one piece of advice you'd like to share to the world?
One piece of advice I would share to the world. As if I didn't share all the things.
Right.
Be who you want to be. Be exactly who you want to be. And live up to that shit and be exactly who you want to be. Because I tell myself every single day that I am determined, dynamic, persistent, ambitious, and full of faith. And I am a beautiful, sophisticated individual called by the Most High and the powers that be to be a loving, world-renowned health and mental wellness motivator and enthusiast. And I got to go out and put it on and be your neighborhood juice dealer, dope healer.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all I got. That's all I got, honey. You done juiced me today, girl. Honey, that's it.
This
I
was
enjoy
a
myself,
phenomenal conversation.
Thank you. I enjoy myself.
Thank you.
You so dope, friend.
Thank you.
Yeah. I pray that God bless your heart and all your parts.
Thank you so much. It means the world.
You do mean the world to me. Oh, give me some love. Give me love. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Wholistic Conversations. Let us know maybe some tips you took away from today's conversation and make sure you're subscribed, okay? So Gigi, let the people know where they can find you.
So once again, I'm Georgette Reynolds, your neighborhood juice dealing dope healer. JuicedUpBar.com is one entity that you can find me on Instagram and all other platforms. It's Juiced, Juiced, Up, Inc., INC. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. Instagram.
And if you're in Atlanta, you know, you can pull up and get your Nama Stay On or get your Juiced Up on at 1066 Ralph David Abernathy. But we got some things working on, so we're gonna be there for a little while longer. But you know, we got stuff to do. We got moves to make. Yeah. Shout out to Keitra Bates of Marty. So we got things to do, man. We got things to do. And I'm excited. And just thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And thank you all for tuning in. Catch you next time.